My name is Karina Alvarez, and this oral presentation is on the case study relating to Merck & Co. Inc. and the river blindness disease that was plaguing tiny countries in Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America, affecting over 85 million people. Also, this oral presentation will discuss the applicability of Frank's, Payne's, and Sen's articles from our textbook, and also it will go over my opinion and my reasoning as a high-level administrator at Merck, and my decision whether we would go ahead with research, and what my responsibility is and what the company's ethical responsibility is. To recap what Merck & Co., the position that they're in, so they had two prescription drug medications that were bringing in for many years, because they had the patent to it, about $2 billion annually in revenue. So while the clock was ticking and they were getting close to the end of their patent, the executives at Merck & Co. decided to put a lot of money and resources into the scientists and researchers and into their research and development work. This is, of course, to come up with another great prescription drug medication that would then be the revenue driver for the company for the next X amount of years, 17 years or so, as the two previous ones were. In their research and development, they came across a medication that is called ivermectin, and the use of this drug on livestock and animals. And it came to Dr. Campbell's, and he recommended that he thought that this would be able to potentially cure river blindness. Again, river blindness is it's a disease that's in third world countries, and the people that would need the treatment for this are people that will not be able to afford the drug. These are people from rural, tiny villages. They are uneducated. They thought that a part of growing up and becoming an adult was to have very itchy skin and to go blind, the side effects of river blindness. So with that, they were faced with a question, and basically it's, should they continue the research on this drug and do some testing to determine if it can cure river blindness, although they know that there will be no profits, or should they just pretend this did not come across their desk and move on? So the funding for prescription drug medication takes 12 years and millions of dollars on average. So for me, as a high-level administrator at Merck & Co., in my opinion, we do need to move forward with the research on this, because it's not only the right thing to do in terms of curing 85 million people in the world. It's ethically and morally the right thing to do, and also it's at the core of Merck & Co.'s company. Their past chairman, George Merck, said that prescription drugs are for the people, not for the profits. So having this as one of its core values outside of the ethical responsibility of the company is extremely important, and it should be, although it's a lot of money, it should definitely be not for vast discussion. Now, applying this to Frank's article, that basically Frank goes over why being socially responsible helps a company prosper. And there are a variety of reasons, and really his argument is that the company will prosper in the long term. Although right now, in the short term, this seems like a lot of money and all of the resources going into this medication. In the long term, there are a lot of benefits to being socially responsible and ethically responsible. For one, what has been ingrained in the employees' mind and their values, and what the company has said that they're doing, what all the high-level executives are doing, we're actually doing it. So not, it's not just about talking the talk and walking the walk. It's about actually doing it. So it's very important that they move on with this. Also, the scientists and researchers that are devoting their time to coming up with medication that will benefit this company believe, I'm sure, that this is the right thing to do. Um, and it's also not only about the employees, but also the customers, those people that have been using their different prescription medications, whether it be for arthritis or whatnot. They will trust the company. They know that it's really not just about the money, and it's about their health, and they're humans, and and they care about their consumers, which are their patients. Um, then, as the Merck and Co. study relates to Lynn Sharp's Payne's article on managing for organizational integrity, Payne argues that ethics has everything to do with management, that it's not just about writing, having the general counsel of a company come up with a code of ethics and a handbook and some compliance rules. It's not just about that. It's about having at every level the buy-in, the ethical buy-in. So knowing that you don't do something not just because the handbook says that you don't do it, but because it's at your core and it's part of your value. So, that responsible conduct, again, it's beyond legal compliance. So I agree with both Frank and with Payne's arguments. I do feel that sometimes, although there is no immediate profit, you have to do the right thing. Also, and that, of course, organizational integrity and morale is critical, as Payne argues, and to have a company that, to have people go beyond and to do the extra mile and to really buy into the company, they need to know that at every level, everyone is making the same decision, that they're not being fooled, that they're not being naive for following the rules, because at the end of the day, it's all going for the greater good. And then finally, a Marta Zen's article about if business ethics makes economic sense. Of course, business ethics makes economic sense. Economics is not just about the bottom line. Economics has to do with a lot more than that. It has to do with the trust that goes into conducting business. In order to conduct business properly, you need to have some sort of commitment from both parties. A quick example is if I buy something online and I put my credit card, I need to trust that that will be delivered to the address that's given to me. So in Sen's article, the example of the butcher, the brewer, and the baker is used, which of course has to do with distribution and production and the exchange of goods, and that it's not all in self-interest. It does go beyond that, and business is much more than profit. Because again, it's about doing the right thing. It's not about stealing. It's not about doing anything illegal. It's about doing the right thing, not just acting in self-interest, acting for the greater good. So in recap, I would 100% move forward with this research. I also feel that there is a perception that's extremely important. If this was to come out that they did not move forward, they did not fund the research, if Merck & Co. decided not to fund the research, and years down the line, this was something that came out in the media, I think that people would be very upset, because if they didn't do this because they didn't care to help 85 million people that were affected by this awful disease, then what are people to think if they found something that might cure AIDS or that might cure some sort of cancer that a very few percentage of people have? And for AIDS, maybe they feel that the people can't afford the medication or so on. So I think that it's about doing the right thing. It's about acting ethically responsible. It's about making sure that the values are ingrained at all management levels. It's about making sure that those values are put into action and they're not just a piece of paper with words on them. And overall, it's about moving forward and making. I would recommend Merck & Co. to to partner with an agency or a group that could help them implement this pill among the communities, and could provide education to those villagers that live there, because again, they had no idea that this was actually a disease. They thought that this is something that happened when you grew up. Thank you.